All right. Yeah, so just like I was saying before, like so we've mentioned just how some films they just leave a mark with you. They leave something special with you. You know, there are some films that they're that you can watch a million times, and each time you take away something different. So what I mostly do in a lot of my studies is study particular actors, right? So we have trends with things that we like. So when we like a film, that's kind of like saying we liked whoever was in it, whether they was good, whether they were good people, bad people, whatever, right? So we are just more open to seeing more by someone in a film that we enjoyed. So let's say that I watched Carlito's Way. So even though John Leguizamo was the guy that ends up killing him and snubbing Al Pacino in the end of Carlito's Way, like you're more likely to enjoy and watch something from John Leguizamo, going forward in the future, right? So, as we all know, he went from doing Carlito's Way to doing things like The Pest and stuff like that. So, it's good to be able to travel with these actors, right? So, like, I have a long history with. We all have a long history with many actors, but particularly I have a long history with Robert Downey Jr., right? So there was this film that he shot. I'll pull it up real quick. It's called Hearts and Souls. You gotta. Sometimes my searches are fucking crazy. So I put Robert Downey dead bus film. So in this film, I'll read you the description. A businessman is reunited with the four lost souls who were his guardian angels during his childhood, all with a particular purpose to joining the afterlife. So the here, fuck. Let me play the trailer. We do this sometimes, yeah? Yeah? You guys like the audio bits? All right.
Oscar nominee Robert Downey Jr. and an all-star cast, including Charles Crow.
I'll fail, I'm telling you, I always fail.
Kara Sedgwick.
You're so afraid of being hurt. You're gonna end up all alone.
Elizabeth Shue.
Anytime things get remotely serious, you start, I don't know, wiggling around.
Tom Sizemore.
I'm a professional, all right?
And Academy Award nominees David Paymer.
Let's go, dead people.
And Alfre Woodard.
I'm so proud of you.
Tell you what, this is a preview.
Critics call it the best movie of the year. And the best comedy of the year.
So cool, I can change it.
Magical fantasy, an absolute joy, funny, powerful, uplifting. Every moment is magic. Robert Downey Jr. gives an Oscar-caliber performance.
Look, this is all very illuminating, all this business mumbo jumbo, but basically, who gives a and it's a beautiful dish like you in front.
And NBC TV calls Heart and Souls an instant classic.
You're supposed to use him as a vehicle. And if he won't do it, you enter his body and you make him do it.
Heart and Souls.
Cool. So I was a little fucking kid whenever that came out, right? So Hearts and Souls came out in 1993, and for some fucking reason, I remember seeing this shit in theaters. Apparently, I think maybe my dad, wanted to go see something in theater. So, anywho, like I was saying, like it's just great to be able to grow with these people. So, another movie that is amazing by Robert Downey is Less Than Zero. So that is one that I continually tell people about. Let's watch the trailer. Since we're into that technology now, you know what I'm saying?
Clay is coming home from college, home to Beverly Hills. To
closest friend.
Oh, played for a long time. I've met a lot of new and interesting people.
This is great. The three of us together again, seeing you.
Home to the rich.
How's MIT?
It's weird. It's stimulating.
All you have to do is relax. You're gonna pay it back. All you need to do is trust. I don't want to trust you, Julian. I just want my 50K, all right? You don't look happy.
But do I look good?
And the out of control.
I think Julian's in a lot of trouble.
Cannot go on forever. You owe me a lot of cash. What's going on? I'm serious.
He disappears, nobody knows when, then he comes back like nothing ever happened.
You've been busting your butt for Julian since day one, and it's a waste of time. Do whatever I can. I'll do whatever it takes. First, easy.
Leave us alone.
Julian, everyone is accountable. Make me understand, Julian. I really want to understand.
Sometimes you can have anything in the world your heart desires, except the way it used to be. Andrew McCarthy, Robert Downey Jr., Jamie Gertz, James Spader.
Check me out. I'm going to make a serious comeback. Great.
Less than zero.
Crazy film. So that one, it's difficult to live these lives with these characters. Like that particularly is a film that's like, I don't want to fucking be this guy. You know what I mean? So, you know, we all watch shit for different reasons, right? So I mean, like, it's hard to in that film. It's so difficult being anyone. There's so much fucking drama in that film. So it's just like if you have only seen like the Iron Man series or whatever the fuck you've seen Robert Downey Jr. in, but you know, if you have, so what I like to do in what I've gone and done other shows of is doing these films where it is films from characters that you know but you probably haven't seen, right? So Less Than Zero is one of those. So for Sylvester Stallone, you know, I talked about Paradise Alley, and you know, just a couple of others like that. Cool. So let's get into you know, just like I was saying, it was just it's great to see that arc, you know, of all of these super diverse roles and like everything that these people do. So the lives of actors is pretty great, right? Along a long life that we've gotten to watch on screen is Leonardo, right? DiCaprio, right? So let me pull up his IMDb real quick because we're gonna go ahead and get into Gangs of New York. I guess his most famous film is Inception, according to, you know, whenever I pulled up Leonardo in IMDb, it has him like in parentheses in Inception, right? Cool. Anyway, so Leonardo, when he started, so there has just been so many great things that he's been a part of, right? So I've actually never seen What's Eating Gilbert Grape. So So I always reference it, but because I know the story well, and just being, you know, around people who've talked about it, you know, I've gotten to know the summary and the plot, you know, pretty good. It's one of those ones that I and that's what I do is I go back and watch these ones that, you know, are like shoot over my head or I haven't seen naturally, right? So you're only like, so I was exposed to other things, a million other things that, you know, people probably wouldn't have seen either. So those are just one of those things that for me I haven't actually watched, but I have seen like 89% of the rest of his things. But so The Quick and the Dead was the Russell Crowe one, so I actually watched that shit recently, and the kid he's you know, from my recollection, I believe he's a really fast gunslinger in that one. So but anyway, so really cool ones like the Basketball Diaries that had Mark Wahlberg in it, and so in the film the same thing, like Less Than Zero, these you don't, you know, you start out wanting to kind of be everyone, You know, so in the beginning of Less Than Zero, you know, you do want to be Robert Downey, or you do want to be the other guy, right? So, but at the end, there is just like, you know, clear, defining points of who and who you're not going to be, right? So in Basketball Diaries, Leo had a part like this, right? So they were part of a very prominent basketball team at a very good school and like Ivy League type shit, right? So they were very silver spoon, privileged kids and shit, right? So, and they just get willingly into, you know, some very bad shit, and things get out of control and beyond their control, you know. But anyways, so that film, all of these, you know, just go into the legacy, right? So another one, Romeo and Juliet, films for 1986, right? So I'm 30 now. So it's like for my generation, so 96, right? So I was 10, right? So 10 is big, right? 10 is big, right? Back then, things would circulate a lot. So the old shit would still be in circulation for a long time. So for me, you know, being a poor young man in the country, the shit was new to me, even though it wasn't new to like. So like now, I can pay and go watch something brand new, and it's like if I don't, you know what I mean? Like that's, you know, well, whatever it is, right? But back then, you know, you didn't have a fucking choice, right? So I couldn't go buy my own things, and nor would I even have a taste as a 10-year-old. But anyways, so I clearly didn't get into Romeo and Juliet when I was 10, but it did, and it was important in high school, you know, and it was important, you know, when certain people become relevant to your purposes, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were very prominent. As I already mentioned in the show, John Leguizamo, and John Leguizamo's in there, and like, so there's just so many people that are in that cast. So that cast was big, right? So yeah, so, and then Kate Winslet, and then so cool. I wasn't into Titanic, and for I think very obvious reasons, but you know, that story was just commercial, right? So it was meant to have a broad appeal. I mean, that's not to say that it wasn't a good film. Is just, for me, it wasn't more than anything better than the best film at that box office that weekend, right? So, you know, I mean, it is iconic, I guess, but just because people keep went into it, and of course, because of the content, it is attached to the Titanic. However, you know, as for the story, it was above average, and it was played well. I very, very, very much liked. So it's just like some people, you wonder like, what the fuck is what are their career? Who, you know, when you go back and you look at certain people's careers, it's just like they're so average. Like, for instance, Billy Zane. So Billy Zane in that film was fucking amazing. Like, he is the villain. He's Kate Winslet's fiance, you know, and without his role in that film, you know, it wouldn't have had the roller coaster ride that it did, right? So I enjoyed his part. I think he lived, right? Anyways, The Man in the Iron Mask was not a film that I was into. And you know, I mentioned before, like, I have only recently got into all of this BBC foreign things over the last 5-6 years, right? So The Man in the Iron Mask was a '98 film. So let's just say back then the material wasn't my thing, as I was still growing with a ton of American shit. So as I'm very American in my choices with cinema, and lately, you know, I'm just so worldly decisions that I choose for cinema as well. So, you know, now I could possibly go back and check that out and possibly enjoy it. But, you know, moving on in his chronology here, The Beach in 2000 was fucking tits, right? So one of the best Leo films, period, right? So, and Leo's done so many good ones, right? Catch Me If You Can, The Aviator, The Departed. I mean, Blood Diamond was a little generic, but it wasn't bad, right? Anywho, so let's get into Gangs of New York. So Gangs of New York was very special, right? So I've probably said that specifically like 10 times already, but let's discuss as to what makes it special and what was so special about it, right? So this fucking okay, cool. So the story is a war story, and it is a feudal territory where many different gangs have owned the territory of different race and creed, right? So the protagonist in the very beginning is Liam Neeson, and shit, I think they call him the Shepherd, right? So he's just a leader of the, I want to say the fucking Irish. Yeah, because I mean, so Daniel Day-Lewis is in the film, and he particularly calls the Shepherd an Irish bastard. Maybe not him. Maybe his right hand man. So his right hand man is a prominent character that we have seen in other films. I believe he was fucking here. So let me pull it up real quick so I don't misquote him. But I think he was in Gladiator. Was it Braveheart? But anyways. Let me see. John C. Reilly's in it. So Liam Neeson's in it. Cameron Diaz is in it. I love Daniel Day-Lewis. So Daniel Day-Lewis as the Butcher. So prominent actors in cinema, Daniel Day-Lewis is way high, right? So he, as an actor, portrays his roles. So he's known to be a method actor, right? So he goes way over the top. So if you see behind the scenes stuff on the Gangs of New York, they couldn't get him out of his butcher role. So he was just always the butcher whenever he was there, right? So one of Daniel Day-Lewis's best films that, you know, best iconic films, you know, since we're doing an iconic film night. So one of the greater iconic films in my book is Last of the Mohicans, right? So Daniel Day-Lewis is the last Mohican, and it's kind of oh shit. So it's kind of one of those stories where, so if you watch Dave Chappelle, they did this segment and they were just talking about like Tom Cruise being the last samurai, you know. So Daniel Day-Lewis is apparently not. He was only half Indian in the story, but he's very Indian in the story, right? So I'm not sure what clan or what Indian. So in the story, they're warring, right? So it is these Indians who are being cleared out by, you know, an invading, it's an English or European force, but anyways, these people who are invading are using a a very good warrior type of hunting clan to have them assist. So, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, he there's a lot of killing in the film, a lot of really, really good killing, and a lot of saving of settlers and stuff. So it is a very heart-strong film. If you're into things like Dances with Wolves and stuff like that, you would love Last of the Mohicans. Another great one was Geronimo. But anyways, back to Gangs of New York. Daniel Day-Lewis and Liam Neeson are of rival clans here, and I believe so we switch. We don't necessarily switch perspective, but hands switch of ownership of this town during the course of the film. So certain things that are very, very special about this film are, and the give and takeaways. You know, so the things that, you know, I was just saying that you know and love about any film that you love, you know. So one of the segments that we've done before is favorites and why are they your favorites and stuff like that. So you know, if you study people, if you look at people, you watch people, they start to resemble the stuff that they like. So conversationally, socially, so let's say, for instance, you're a South Park you know, fanatic. Your mannerisms, you may do things that look like South Park characters, you may talk like South Park characters, you know, when you're around you know, people that you're comfortable being yourself and vulnerable, so you begin to resemble the mental mold of these fictitious characters in their worlds. You assume their characterships in these worlds. You are these characters when you're there, so it's back to them with them to the real world as well. So mannerisms are definitely one. So it's just like, you know, and famous comedians talk about it all the time and stuff. You know, I think it was Eddie Murphy that did if you know, when people come out of the Rocky film, you know, they're just all huffed up, they're all loose with it, you know, they're all ready to take a punch to the face, you know, and not dodge like Rocky and then shove them back. And you know, so you essentially, you know, you are a million different characters all in one, right? So the Butcher is fun to be, as is many characters in this one. So what's really, really funny is that's something that comes up consistently, and why, you know, I decided to speak about Gangs of New York tonight is I always hear the fucking battle drums and stuff, you know, I always hear that fucking tune. Like, anytime, like, I guess in my mind, anytime there's like, hey, Joe needs like a fucking battle hymn, you know, like, that shit plays, right? So here, I'll play it for you. Let me find a little battle scene real quick. The opening fucking battle scene is so dope. And it happens in the first like 10 minutes, and we lose horribly. It's fucking bad though. So that's the Butcher, yeah? Daniel Day-Lewis.
Is this it, priest? The Pope's new army? A few handful of ragtags?
I know, Bill. You swore this was a battle between warriors, not a bunch of Miss Nancy's. So warriors is what I thought.
The outcome of the blade! The sharp tails! What's that just us? The 40 thieves! Their name. On my challenge, by the ancient laws of combat, we are met at this chosen ground to settle for good and all. Who holds sway over the 5 points? Us natives, born rightwise to this fine land, or the foreign hordes defiling it?
The shit is gruesome, right? So that so what's really fun is John Riley, you know, I've been watching for quite some time too, and yeah, you can catch him on some dumb shit now, right? Like a bunch of comedy, but you know, back in the day, like I watch Days of Thunder a lot, you know, I watch Top Gun a lot, you know, but he's one of the pit crew in Days of Thunder, and you know, he is there with him and Jesus Christ, it's not Ed Harris, is it? No, it's not Ed Harris. Robert Duvall, you know. So he's with Robert Duvall, you know. Anyways, it is really cool to see these people and you know where they go and what they've done. So Gangs of New York was one of those films, and we didn't even get to the music, right? So let's see if I can find that music. Here, and I'll share the fight scene. I don't know what. I hope they get to it. Let's see. Cut it off right there too. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one I tried to watch. Wow.
Prepare to receive the true Lord!
Right, so the shit gets crazy. Leonardo is one of the kids over here. You know, he gets to see his father fall in combat here. It's gruesome. The Butcher and his clan slaughters these fucks. This guy, every time he gets a kill, he marks it in his hatchet there. Wow, his club. That was a chick that was slicing people apart. That one, that's a girl. That's Leonardo's character. That's Leonardo. Mr. Riley, Liam. Damn, hooked him. You see this shit? It looks like a fucking you know those scenes where like seals are killed and shit? There's blood everywhere. Kill. Right in the kidney, yeah. But anyways, so the fallout of that is that the boy goes with the butcher, and it pretty much is raised to kind of who is like his. Anyways, he tries to get close to him so that he can kill him. You know, it's a. Let me find the music so you can. So that it can haunt you too. Here, let me. Because when we're gearing up for combat, that's the shit that's playing. Yeah, here. So watch. I'll show you that. This one here. That music is haunting. So anytime in reality, whenever shit's about to pop off, I hear that shit like play in my head. It's soothing though, you know? Like, it's invigorating. If you don't know what that means that it feels good for battle this day. Invigorating. This sound is preparing us for. See, that's that chick. Cool. So yeah, that sound is is fucking haunting, right? So another one that came to mind right now is one of my favorite films with Liam Neeson is Rob Roy. If you've never seen Rob Roy, you definitely got to check that one out too. I was having some issues, so I don't know really what just happened, but that you saw is the haunting trailer where I was showing you the music, right? So what I was just saying is because it didn't provide. It keeps giving me some fucking authentication error. Anyway, if you still says it's still going. Anyways, I'm gonna continue. So fuck that issue. Cool. I'm gonna share something else. I'm gonna keep it in the small view though. Cool. This is the Rob Roy one. I'm gonna fucking make it full screen.
They were meant to be together.
You know I love the bones of you. You take too much to heart that cannot be helped.
Until those who ruled
You spent your last peaceful life, McGregor.
threatened his family. They plotted against us. We will have him soon enough.
You see Timothy Roth?
And to protect those he loved.
I've come for the outlaw Robert McGregor.
I will think of you dead until my husband makes you so.
He was willing to give his life.
What if you don't come back to us?
I will have justice.
What have they done with you?
Liam Neeson.
I have been wronged by your lordship.
Hang him from the bridge. Jessica Lange.
I love his own. He is but a shadow to the love I bear him.
John Hurt. Damn McGregor. Damn to hell. Tim Roth. I want McGregor. And Eric Stoltz.
Be back.
You never know the meaning of courage.
Go down now, and I'll spare you.
All but one. Till you know the story. I hate you, Arthur. And you tell of Rob Roy.
Shit's dope. Anyways, cool. So I'm glad you guys got to see that. But yeah, so another one that I think that you know, we could probably discuss quickly is Lost in Space was so good. So I got the opportunity to see that one as a kid in theaters, and for me it was just such a memorable experience. I very, very, very much enjoy getting to see William Hurt. I've watched his career, not literally so much, but because I mean he was an older actor, right? So I've done a lot of research and I've gotten to see a lot of his older stuff, but I didn't get to experience it like people got to experience it, you know, live, like us with that. But I did go back and was able to watch Altered States, which was a very big film in 1980. And anyway, so he was in Altered State is fucking crazy. If you haven't seen it, the film itself is about the experimentation of the mind and just certain psycho techniques that they were using and methods that they were using. Some very arcane and not very approved of. You know, so he chose to do this on himself and goes through this fucking insane trip where I think he fucking de-evolutionizes himself. Anyways, great film. Check it out. Leads to a very prominent career in which we get to see him do a variety of roles. He's just done so many. But his particular role in Lost in Space was very special, right? So that's what this show is about, is why our film and the role he played in the family. So were you into things like Swiss Family Robinson and Old Yeller and things like that? So I was, right? So Swiss Family Robinson was one of those films that was just like heartfelt, felt like home, you know. Certain other films for me are like that too. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Certain films that it's like if you didn't know who I was, you would never be able to tell, you know, that I get down like that, right? Cool. So that's like getting a girlfriend or something and find out she's in Oklahoma or something. You know what I mean? Like that's some real shit, right? So, anyways, Lost in Space was one of those films. So I loved that film, and it was mostly, you know, who he was to his family and how vital he was to his family. And for me, it very much felt like, so one of the best stories of all time is A Christmas Carol, right? It just is, you know, it works so good. There's so many retellings of it. And then, so if you ever get a chance, like, I don't know if you watch a lot of plays, but you know, I don't watch a lot of different plays, but I have seen A Christmas Carol like a million fucking times, right? So it's always different and it's always good, right? So for me, the telling of Lost in Space is very reminiscent of the story that Scrooge goes through. So the character in this story gets to experience time travel in this sort of manner where he gets to see a chasm without himself. He gap and comes down, and on the other side, time is different, and it is as if he had abandoned his family for many, many years, and it's really, really exciting. Very good portrayal of time, so you get to see really, really cool time travel efforts and things like in Primer, in The Time Machine, you know, with Guy Pearce. That one was the good one, right? But the time travel in Lost in Space was very cool. Anyways, cool. So I'm gonna wrap it up for today. I think we might have just set a new record for time, but you know, we got to do so many cool fucking things with the screen. And yeah, until next time, guys.